Hello, good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to our live series of webinars. Today, we have with us Jason Guidry from Halifax Partnership. Welcome, Jason, and thank you for joining us.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for giving us your time. So we are today in our series of webinars with Strategy Up about the opportunities and challenges of going digital in 2021. I am sure Jason has lots of things to tell us about, and he's going to help us understand what the Halifax Partnership was able to do and how they help the small businesses and businesses here in Halifax. So welcome. And Jason, I want to give you the floor to introduce yourself to our audience, and later we'll go directly into our discussion.
Sure. Thank you, Mark. As you mentioned, I'm with the Halifax Partnership. And the Halifax Partnership is the economic development organization for Halifax. We're a private-public partnership, and we support businesses that are both locally located in Halifax and are doing business here, and support businesses that are looking to establish here. So both of those, and we cover all corners of HRM. So if you're a business that is interested in learning more about the programs, the services, the funding, and the resources that are available for businesses, reach out to myself or anybody at the Halifax Partnership, and we can help be that white glove service or the concierge service for your business.
Very good, very good. Thank you so much, Jason, for this intro. I am so happy to have you here, as always. I also always like to start by thanking our sponsors and strategic partners. We have here Agora Office Space. This is the space where we are broadcasting live every week. They are giving us their space and their equipment to do our webinars. I also want to thank our strategic partner, the Chartered Institute of Marketing Management of Ontario. This is an organization which I am proud to be part of. I am acting as their Chief Strategy Officer as well, and we are advocates in marketing and marketing ethics. So having said this, Jason, I want to dive directly into the topic. I want to ask you this question. Tell me a little bit how the Halifax Partnership was able to support all the businesses in Halifax for the past, I would say, 12 to 18 months.
Sure, and I guess it started when we partnered with eBay to launch the Halifax eBay Retail Revival Program. That's when we really started to shift some of our attention to helping businesses with digital adoption strategies and helping them understand, I guess, some of the ways they can get online. Historically, in Atlantic Canada, businesses have not played a lot of attention to reaching customers through online channels. We've really relied on customers, interacting with us, coming into our stores and our shops, and doing business that way. And this was part of the work that I guess kind of spearheaded the eBay Retail Revival Program, was to kind of help businesses understand that they are competing against other businesses down the road, but they're also competing against businesses internationally. Consumers have adapted very quickly to ordering products online, and we wanted to support our businesses to be able to compete with all of these new competitors that are out there.
Wow, this is really exciting, and I am sure, like many of small businesses at that time, and maybe until today, are really looking for any kind of support to help them boost their business, or even to survive, not even to boost during this period, right? So we saw lots of stress happening on the small and medium enterprise level, and even the entrepreneurial level, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so through the evolution of the work that we did with the eBay Retail Revival Program, we partnered with Digital Main Street, based out of Toronto, to deliver the Shop Here powered by Google program here in Halifax.
Mhm.
And that was very early on during the pandemic period, when businesses were all of a sudden faced with lockdowns and the inability to service their customers in like the traditional way that they always had. So this was a way for us to kind of kickstart that conversation and get it into high gear. That program is still going on now, and we've been able to help over 80 companies locally. And these are all small and medium-sized businesses that previously did not have an e-commerce component to their website, and we've been able to help them build that functionality out through this program.
Wow, that's great. So now, let's dig directly into this topic. And when we were preparing, you were telling me that you have done in a way more like a model of how you support us through five different functions or areas. So why don't we start with the first one? So what was the first step of your support to the small and medium enterprises, or to the businesses here in our area?
Sure. So these were all kind of lessons learned as we were helping businesses through this journey, and it is a bigger process than most businesses understand it to be. There's more involved than just slapping up a website and ringing up a whole bunch of sales. There's a lot more involved, and the first learning that we uncovered was that really it takes some planning.
Mhm.
You need to sit down as a business owner and determine, first of all, what's the right platform, because there are many different platforms available out there to help you transactionalize your website. So creating that e-commerce shop or store on your website.
Yeah.
Different platforms have different capabilities. So you need to understand what you want to do as a business, how you want to reach your customers, and whether or not that platform can accommodate that. The other piece is costs. So every platform has a different fee structure. Some have monthly administration fees, some have a monthly administration fee on top of a transactional fee. So every time you sell something online, you pay a commission, essentially, for doing that sale through that online platform. So you need to just understand those fees and pick, again, a platform that is going to fit your business model. Ease of use. So how easy is this platform going to be for you to use? It's great to get it stood up and to do that. And for example, through the Shop Here program, we were able to stand up that website for those businesses. However, at the end of the program, we turned the website over to the business owners. So then they were responsible for maintenance and upkeep. So it's understanding what's going to be involved, because you can't just set it up once and then forget about it. There will inevitably be updates and new pictures, new products, things like that. So how easy is that going to be for you to do? Do you have the capacity and the knowledge and the experience on hand within your organization, or are you going to want to contract that out to a consultant to help you kind of best decide what that is going to do? So I think that's the first part of the planning in terms of the website. But then the other part of it that you need to consider as well is the types of products that you want to sell online.
Mm-hmm.
Not every product is going to be able to translate to an online marketplace. And the packaging of those products. So is it currently in a packaging that can be easily shipped? And we'll talk about logistics and stuff a little bit later, but so are you going to have to find a way of packaging it to get it to your customers and whatnot? So all these things, I think, are part of the planning process that you need to spend a little bit of time before you get going.
Yeah, yes, I really understand what you're saying, because, we do the same for our client base. And this is the first question, is like, which platform, what it means for me, how much will it cost me to maintain it? What does it mean for me to take once you've delivered this to me? So what do I need to do, right? These are like very legitimate questions, so that they understand hosting cost, setup cost, maintenance, all these small updates on the website or on the platform. Like definitely this is really one of the major decisions, right? Which any employer or any business should start with. When they want to go online and have what we call one of their digital presence, for sure. So once we have a website, what's next? So what was the second most, I would say, important point to cover so that we start having a viable website?
Well, one of the challenges that businesses have when selling online is being able to show what they're selling. And it sounds like a very simple concept, but you need to have photos taken of your products or videos to actually show what you're selling. So product photography was a big hurdle that we ran into very, very early in the process, so much so that we actually engaged a consultant by name of Tina Fatoza, with not just a pretty interface, to help us develop a webinar to help businesses understand the basics of product photography. Because product photography is a little bit different, arguably, than portrait photography or your landscapes or whatever, and most of us probably don't have a whole lot of experience taking really good, nice pictures of like products and items. So, you want to be able to show what you're selling. You need to be able to show it from different angles, and that's where video sometimes works really well. As if you can embed a short video of that product, how to show the product. So clothing, for example, is a really tough one, because you could lay something out on a bed or something, and it looks completely different than if you had it on a live mannequin or a live model. So, showing the products was a really tough one. And even when it comes to lighting, so going out and taking a whole bunch of pictures and on the brightest, sunniest day, sounds like a good idea, but it may not work for what you're looking to do. So, and Mark, I'm sure when you're online shopping, if you're scrolling through websites and you're looking at pictures, if you find a site with a whole bunch of subpar pictures, it's probably not instilling the confidence in you to actually follow through and purchase any of those items. So it can be a showstopper.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we always talk about this as well. When you're building a website, and especially when you are doing an e-commerce platform or an e-store, imagery and images and photography is key, right? You cannot, as you said, have a very lousy image, because later we're going to talk about the funnel, but it's like you have a great house from outside, and then you send the invitation, people want to come in, and then the minute they come in, it's all in a mess. You cannot sit, it's all dusty, right? It's all ugly, and then definitely no one's going to stay. And it's the same on a website. And this is what we call, sometimes we have what we call high bounce rate, where people are going into the website, seeing that it's not what they were expecting, and then directly getting off the website. And people are wondering why, if I do a Facebook ad or a Google ad or a LinkedIn ad, and I am paying money, and Instagram ads or whatever, right? And then no one is purchasing, no one is staying on my website. And then when we look at the content, say, hey, what are you really doing here, right? And I think this is really a great component, or a very important component of a digital asset, and especially a website asset. I always say the same when people are doing just simple Facebook posts, and sometimes they use an image which is not appropriate or blurry or not beautiful. I say, how do you expect that you will have engagements from this post, right? And now imagine you're paying money to boost this post or to do an advertisement. Like it's really very important. And I think you really got it right to start with this kind of logic. Like we need to have the platform, we need to decide what are the bases, what are the foundations of the store, and then look at the imagery.
And one other quick point about photography. So photography can be very overwhelming for small businesses because you feel like you need to invest a lot into camera equipment and lighting and tripods and staging and all that. And in reality, most of the technology you need to take really, decent quality pictures are, can't really see it, but are available on your standard smartphone. So, just knowing how to use that tool can help you, especially if you're just starting the website and you're not looking to invest, thousands of dollars in professional photography at this point. You're testing the waters. You're trying to figure out what works. There's nothing wrong with taking your own pictures, but it's understanding how to take nice pictures with the tools that you have at your disposal.
Oh yeah, definitely. The most important thing is to really know the techniques and the technicalities behind taking pictures there, and we always say it's about a couple of things, is putting the info, like if you are selling a product, put the product in context, right? If you're selling whatever, a chair, don't just put the image of the chair, try to stage it somewhere where people would like to use it, how you have the vision of people using it, so that you create this kind of environment. Lighting is very important, right? It shouldn't be too dark, it shouldn't be too bright, it should be just right. And all this needs a little bit of maybe practice, right, at the beginning, before we just go and dive into this. Not to say that if someone has a budget, they can hire a professional photographer who is going to do all this on their behalf. So after that, what do we do?
So, great question. And this ties really hand in hand with photography. But the next thing that we learned was that businesses need to focus on copywriting. And I'm not talking about copyrights as in protecting their products, but for writing for e-commerce. So the first thing that draws you in on a website is typically the imagery. So the pictures, you see the pictures, then you click on them, then you want to find out more about them. That's where you need to turn your attention to your writing skills. We were seeing far too many sites that had very, very minimal, basic, or sometimes there wasn't even a product description available. And the product description is what is going to help convert that browser to a buyer. So they need to understand what they're looking at, first of all. So, you might have a client that comes to your website, sees an image, has no idea what that is, but they're curious. So you've already got their attention. So now you need to explain to them, first of all, what is this that they're looking at? How do you use it? What is it for, and why they can't live without it? So, that's your opportunity to tell that story or to share that narrative with your clients. And like I said, hopefully that will help convert the browsers to buyers.
Yes, definitely. And, let me add one thing. A couple of weeks ago, I had with me as a guest one of our experts in Shopify. And they are based out of Ireland, but they have lots of partners in Canada, not yet in Nova Scotia, and this is why we were talking to them, but more in Ontario. And one of the major issues about the write-ups and the content around the products and services is that they are very tied to the SEO quality. One of the major issues is that if you are reselling a product and you're not an exclusive reseller, what's going to happen is that all the other resellers are trying to take the description that is given to them by the vendor or manufacturer. So they are copying and pasting it under the description. What's happening is that this description now is in a way available on the internet through different websites. So when you search for it, Google is going, or Google search or the search engines are going to put a very low rating because it's not an original content.
Mhm.
So you're not going to be found organically on top of the page because they see that this is a copied content. So ideally, what is very important is that copywriting and content management is extremely important for SEO management,
Mhm.
because once you have your original content, there you go, you are boosted to the in a way, it's one of the components of getting a high rank on the first page, on the first search page. And this is something which not too many are investing time in doing it, because it's easy, it's fast, especially when you have 500 products on your store. It's tough,
Mhm.
right? It's time consuming. You need to be very creative in finding the right words. And, in one of the marketing training which I give, I always say storytelling is very important when you are linking it to a product or to a service, to increase the awareness and to increase the engagement and hopefully the conversion rate.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And not too many people are really taking this very seriously. They just say, oh, you know what, I got this description, copy paste, put it, now I have a paragraph of information about my product.
Yeah.
So how are you going to be differentiated from others? And you are penalizing yourself on the SEO side. So it's very important. Just for the ones who are watching us, SEO is search engine optimization. So we're not going to dive into the technicalities, but just for people to know what we're talking about. So it's extremely important. So now we have the platform. So we have the basis of our house. We have the images. So we have something that is welcoming people to at least have a peek, and they raising the interest. We have the content. So now we know what it is about in a way or another. And hopefully we are interested. So what's next? I always ask you what's next, because I know that you have discovered the formula. So I want everyone to get your formula, right? Because it's very important.
I don't know if it's a formula, but again, it's another learning that we made, through working with businesses through this process. But the next thing we saw successful businesses doing is harnessing the omni-channel approach. So not putting all of their eggs in one basket, and trying to reach customers through different ways. So obviously, a lot of businesses had a bricks and mortar establishment that customers could come in, take a look, and whatnot. Now they were standing up an e-commerce platform on their site, so that's another channel. And then others were taking it a step further and linking to an international e-commerce platform like eBay or Amazon or what have you. And the difference there is it's traffic. So it's like having your storefront at the Halifax shopping center versus having it in Middle Muscadabat. It's all about traffic. It's getting more people into your store and taking a look at what you have for sale. So, and again, depending on your products, on who your market is and how you want to interact with them, taking that omni-channel approach is something to consider.
Yes. So we always say that in digital marketing strategy, and later you're going to touch on the marketing aspect, is that how you're going to have touch points with your customer or your target audience from different angles, from different channels, because we need to understand that not all our audience is just in one place. People think that if I am on Facebook, that's it, right? Everybody should be there, everybody should see me, and then they say, why did I have only one like or two shares and 5 likes and no conversion? And one of the answers is that not all your audience, or the audience who is going to convert into a customer, is maybe on Facebook. And also we always say that Facebook is not maybe a great place for everyone to be on, and it's not the only sales channel for every kind of business, right? So we need to understand what you are selling, what is your industry. if your customer base is engaged with you on Facebook or not. If not, you need to have a different channel, right? And
Yep.
this is something that sometimes it's tough to understand, or to not only to understand, I don't want to say to understand, but maybe to execute on, right? Because this means that you need to have more work to do. And we know, one of the challenges which we find is that every social media platform has, they have their own requirements about the image sizes, the way you do it. And then it's like, you need to redo the work 3, 4, 5 times if you want to be on 5 different channels, right? On top of email marketing, newsletters, your website. So usually when you want to do one campaign, you need to reproduce it probably 6 or 7 times in different size of images so that you are available on all the different channels, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that leads us into our last
Yeah.
finding is marketing. So a lot of the businesses that we were working with went into this venture with kind of a, build it and they will come mentality. So they've built a website and then they were hoping for sales to be generated as a result of that website being built and available to customers. The problem is your customers need to know that that's a website is available and that those items are for sale there. So you need to find a way to promote those products. So, and you mentioned quite a few of them, easy ones that businesses were taking advantage of. So ads through Facebook or through other social media channels, traditional media, whatever way you can get the news out. If you've got newsletters or channels like that you can use. Just being careful of privacy and castle laws, making sure that you're using those appropriately. But getting the word out that your store is there, it's available, and then continuing that, because just getting the word out once is good, but then you need to find a way to stay top of mind so that when customers go looking for a product, they remember your site, they remember your products, and they come back to you, because otherwise, they're going to forget, and they're not going to think to come to your site. So you need to find a way to constantly promote your products and keeping your site top of mind.
Yes, definitely. And this really, the digital marketing, and when we talk about marketing, people directly jump to saying that it's only advertising, but actually it's much more than advertising. Advertising is a component of marketing. But if we want just to talk about digital advertising, again, we help lots of customers into doing their Google Ads campaign and all what we call the cost per click, the CPC advertisements. And it is never a fire and forget campaign. It's all the time something which you need to have a hands-on, optimize, check the results on a daily basis, make decisions every 3-4 days about how to push forward, how to improve your campaign settings. And this is something which is very tough, right? It needs lots of time. It needs people who have the skills, who have the technical skills and the know-how, right? So I totally understand all these challenges. So you said that you helped in these fundings. Are these funding opportunities still available, or this is something that was in the past and now the window is closed for?
Yeah, so unfortunately, the programs that we have are completely full now. Another program that we did support and was to a direct response to the marketing support piece was what we called our Access Local program. And it was a partnership with VLife, which is a local startup right here in Halifax, that created a marketplace to connect businesses, particularly small to medium at the very biggest size businesses, to the buy local marketplace. So to consumers that wanted to buy products and services from businesses that are located right here within our own community. So we helped over 80 companies join that network, and we've seen quite a few successes through that. Even saw one company who sells popcorn ended up making a sale to a customer in Alaska within a couple of days of joining this network, and because the network helps to promote all of the businesses through their own channels, and it helps the businesses with their own marketing campaigns as well. But they were able to realize a sale from someone in Alaska for
Wow.
popcorn because they were connected. They had family members in Dartmouth, and they bought them popcorn and had it delivered to them. So they,
Wow.
and that's the type of thing that you wouldn't get unless you're actually marketing and promoting your products and services.
Yes, of course, and this is why we always say, usually people are afraid from the unknown. So when they don't know about something, they prefer not to approach it. So many entrepreneurs didn't yet really jump into the digital marketing aspect or digital advertising aspect because they are afraid. They think it's very expensive. And to be honest, it might turn out very expensive if you don't know what you're doing, right? However, I always say you always need to put something into the business so that the business gives you something back, right? So you cannot just operate from the basement of your house and try to say, I am not going to put any marketing money into my business, and then you hope that you're going to be selling in hundreds of thousands of dollars. Maybe you have few unicorns that might do this, right? But when we talk about the general rule, we always need to do something to our business. And this is very important, that we gain knowledge so that we're not afraid anymore of doing things. And if we cannot do it ourselves, we have organizations like yours. You might reach out to freelancers, to consultants, whoever who can help you, but just get the professional help which is needed to grow the business, especially in this kind of situation where, we are one day on a lockdown or 2 months on a lockdown. Actually, here we are blessed in Nova Scotia, right? In a way, we've been a little bit more open for a while, right?
Yeah, and you're right. Some businesses may not feel like we're blessed, and rightfully so. The pandemic is certainly affecting different businesses in different ways. But you're right. Overall, I think Nova Scotia is weathering the storm quite well, depending on the day. But we're doing fairly well.
Yeah.
But just to go back to your point, I think planning is probably the most important aspect, and being able to shift and pivot or tweak your plan as you go along. I've seen businesses get in trouble because they're looking to get online, so they pick the fanciest Cadillac of platforms to get online, and of course it can do everything they need and they want. It's got all of the bells and whistles and functionalities, but the problem they ran into was cost, because there's a cost associated with that type of a platform, and if you're not generating enough sales to justify that cost, 2-3 months and it might not be so bad, but when you start getting to 6, 7, 8 months and you're paying these fees and you're not seeing the return, all of a sudden the burden of selling online is outweighing the benefits. And then you may have to reevaluate and switch to a different platform that has a different fee structure that can still do what you need it to do, but may not be as fancy. But switching platforms isn't necessarily an easy thing to do either.
Oh yeah.
In most cases, you're basically building it from scratch again, because you can't copy and paste it over. Some of the copywriting maybe, but to your point, different sites require different file sizes for photography or for and all different things. So it's not as easy as people might think it is to switch. So that's why it's so important to take the time ahead and kind of map out what you're looking to do, what products you're looking to sell, the markets you're looking to get into, the customers you're looking to reach, and determine, the best platform to help you with that.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the problems, or one of the topics which we were talking about with our partners with Shopify, is that sometimes people will come to them and say, oh, you know what, I had a store on a different platform, I want to migrate. And then the cost of migration is piling up. And then you start saying, oh my God, I didn't expect that it's so expensive. And really, it's expensive. If you want to migrate and do everything in terms also migrating the database and the historical data so that you don't lose anything, customer information, the way they logged in, you want to keep in a way the same user experience, right? And then money is piling up very fast. And then you say, like, why did I make this mistake of not planning ahead of time, where I will be deciding for the long term rather than saving $100 here or $1,000 there, and then at the end of the day, it's going to really cost you lots of money to do the migration. It's like, and as you said, most of the time, if the business is not like doesn't have like a long history in the market, the advice is build it from scratch. Again, it's cheaper, faster, and definitely more efficient than just doing the migration.
Yeah. Other issues that we've seen businesses encounter is inventory management. So having 3 sales for an item sounds like a great thing until you go to the shelf and realize you only actually have 1. So, and it's even worse if that one item has just gotten out the door because your bricks and mortar establishment has actually sold it. So, when you're selling online, there's a few different strategies and there's different technologies that can help you with inventory management. But, you really have to keep tight control over what you've got available to sell, and that systems are being updated quite quickly so that you don't run into an embarrassing situation where you have to refund a customer because you don't have the item to sell anymore, or it's going to take 2 weeks for that item to be replenished or what have you. So inventory management is definitely something that you want to consider as you're building an e-commerce platform. The next piece is fulfillment and shipping. So with e-commerce, you're responsible for getting that product to those clients somehow. Now, they may be paying for the shipping, but you're going to have to put it in a box, address it, label it, wrap it if you have to, get it to wherever you're shipping it to, or have the shippers pick it up. So there's a lot to consider as part of that. So making sure and that you're building in or giving your customers proper shipping information, so you're not losing money on that, or improper shipping quotes aren't costing you sales in the end.
Yeah, Jason, you are really hitting on the right topics, because shipping and fulfillment, right? Inventory management is like really one of the major issues for small businesses, where as you said, they don't know what they have in stock. The system is not synchronized with their stock management, or just they might not even have a software that is handling stock, right? And then you have this, what we call the overbooking or overselling. And then what do you do? Like we understand sometimes even the biggest brands in the world, they might have these issues, but they have it mainly when you have the Christmas sale, the Boxing Day and this kind of stuff, where you have huge demand and systems are all, in a way working at full capacity. You would expect it. But when you are on a smooth ride, you should be able to really provide a great customer experience, because at the end of the day, you can do everything right. You can have the best website, you can have the best images, you can have the best description, you might have the best omni-channel communication, the best marketing, everything. The minute you fail on your customer relationship management,
Mm-hmm.
all what you have done is gone in a second, right? Because customers of today, they are unfortunately not as tolerant as the customers of, I would say, 10 years ago, right? Because information is available at your fingertips. Switching from one brand to another is so easy, right?
Yep.
And making a decision and comparing, you know, this is really, really very important to handle when we are in a business. And I just want to add one thing about shipping. If I am not mistaken, on Amazon, for example, um, the products that have free shipping, or at least are advertised as free shipping, they are getting, I think, 60 to 70% more turnover than the ones that have a paid shipping. Although you might be including the shipping cost or part of it in your price,
Yep.
but once you say it's free shipping, it's more like, you know what, the magical word that is going to push the customer to look more into your product and maybe to add it to the cart, and then hopefully to complete the transaction.
Absolutely.
So this is why, as you said, you know, mastering the supply chain and the cost around the supply chain is very important to maintain profitability. Because
Yep.
sometimes when you do the wrong shipping mechanism, you end up probably paying a lot, especially if you're saying that you're offering free shipping, and then you might eat up all your margin just because you were not able to negotiate well your shipping rates and you didn't have the right partner with you, right?
Yeah.
And we
Absolutely.
saw it with different businesses, small businesses, which I call a rookie mistake. But I always ask people, please learn from others, right?
Yeah.
Others went through this painful process, and now it's easy to learn from them, you know.
Yeah.
And I always say, if you are a small entity, look at what the big entities are doing and simply, I wouldn't say copy blindly their process, but take it and adapt it to your process or to your size, and you shouldn't get it wrong, because they spend lots of money in optimizing, right? They spend lots of money in research and R&D and the team. So just follow their lead, right? This is what I say at the beginning, and then you have time to improve, but don't recreate the wheel every time you want to have a touch point with the customer. This is my
Exactly.
2 cents for the entrepreneurs of this world.
And building on what you mentioned about customer service, so customer communications is a big piece of customer service when selling online, and it is different than when you're communicating with customers face to face or through traditional kind of media. Um, to your point again, you know, customers don't seem to have as much patience when it comes to you know, their buying habits. So, you know, if they are contacting you as a business and they don't get a response in a timely manner, they're moving on. They're, you know, they've already moved on to another site, and your timely you know, reply could be enough to bring them back. And I've seen different companies again use you know, different strategies and using auto replies on emails and things like that to just help with that connection and that immediate response.
Yeah.
If nothing else, but to set proper expectations in terms of when you will be able to follow up or provide you know, basic information quickly, and then follow up with the additional information or what have you. So customer communication is, I think, another place where businesses fall down often because they're either too busy or there's just not enough time you know, in a day to respond to it. So having strategies to be able to get through all of those messages and the question, and then by providing, hopefully, you know, quality pictures and really good descriptions, you'll help reduce some of the inquiries you're getting, and pay attention to those inquiries. Because if you're getting a lot of requests about, you know, what does the back of that item look like, or what does it, you know, what colors does this come in, or what, you know, well, that's probably a cue to go update your website and to include some of that basic information that maybe you overlooked or what have you when you were doing the initial build out.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, many times we have lots of customer feedback, but we do nothing about it, right? Just because either we don't know what to do with it or we didn't pay enough attention. And actually, I just want to add one thing that I think most of the businesses should consider putting a live chat on their website, because a live chat is really helping in terms, because you said it's about the immediacy of the action, right? So instead of me as a customer trying to second guess what's happening, and then I will send you an email, you tell me it's 48 hours to reply to you, right? Meanwhile, I am still browsing. And meanwhile, if I will find my answer somewhere else, most probably I will be purchasing from this location, right? So the more you give a touch point, or the more you diversify the touch points with your customer, the stronger are your chances of keeping your customer within your environment. And then if you have a live chat and you are able to answer within a minute, I am not joking when it is within a minute, right? Because people also are not patient. Even if you have a live chat and I send you a message and then you reply after 3-4 minutes, by that time the customer is not anymore on your website, they are gone.
Yeah.
Right? So this is very important. I know it has to have some operational efficiency around it, some processes around it, and people say, okay, I am alone, who is going to do it? Well, guess what? You can have an app on your phone where when the live chat is triggered on your website, you see it directly on the app. You have thousands of solutions that are from free to paid, right? With all the bells and whistles in between. And you can start an operation like this. And then hopefully over time, people can improve based on their, hopefully, the profits that they are going to generate out of this e-store. So definitely customer support, customer relationship management. I believe it is key. I come from the marketing school where it says we need to be customer centric, right? You put the customer in the middle and then you build the business around it. Many businesses were built and then try to put the customer or to fit in the customer. And this is the major problem, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Jason, time is flying. We've been already 47 minutes together, and I am sure we can probably speak for another 47 hours. But before I end up, we spoke about this, but I want you to tell our audience what kind of things the digital, or what are the digital tools which Halifax Partnership used, because we're talking that you did many webinars as well, and you try to provide information to your audience and to your customers or to your partners. Why don't you tell us, like we're talking about product photography, e-commerce, and you have this kind of stuff on your website, on YouTube. Can you just tell the audience where to find this information and what you did for them in the past?
Sure. So on the Halifax Partnership website, under how we help you, or how we help businesses, we have a page about the Shop Here program and another page about the Access Local program. Both of those have webinars attached to them, but the webinars are also on the Halifax Partnership YouTube channel, so they can all be viewed there. And sometimes it's easier just to go straight to the YouTube channel just to get a complete list of all of the webinars available. The other resource that we have is light boxes. So we found that a lot of businesses that were looking to develop their own photography or do their own photography didn't have all of the tools available. And one thing that we were able to do fairly quickly and easily was get a half dozen light boxes or so that we make available to businesses to lend out or to loan out for about a week or so they can kind of start getting some of their product photography going. So if anybody is interested in any of or in borrowing a light box to kind of try it out to see if that is indeed a tool that can help you in your business, get a hold of me, and happy to see if we can arrange a loan of one of those boxes. But yeah, we have brought together different resources and tools. We will continue to post resources and tools that we bring to the businesses that are part of the Access Local and Shop Here programs. There's also tools available through Digital Main Street, so through the site in Toronto that is actually running and administering the Shop Here program, and a multitude of other programs. So Nova Scotia Business Inc. has a program called the Digital Adoption Program. The Chamber of Commerce has a digital adoption program. So check with all of those partners and resources. And if you're having troubles navigating through all of those, again, reach out to myself or anybody at the partnership, and we're happy to help navigate through those programs to connect you to the right ones.
That's great. Thank you so much, Jason, for these tips and this information. I think this is really, I think for some of the businesses, this could be a gold mine, right? So it would be the trigger of a business line or a way of conducting business, which they have never done before. And if they do it correctly, it could be really a different stream of revenue, right? And this is how they can compensate, especially if they were like businesses that had a street front and they had to shut down and now they need to go online. So if they do it correctly, I think they are really going to be only winners out of this process. But it's just about doing things in the right place, doing it in the right steps, right? Not burning steps and just going directly into a website and say, I have everything there. And then at the end of the day, you don't have all the components which you spoke about. I want to just restate them. The website, meaning the platform where I should be, then the images and the photography around it, the content, the omni-channel approach, and finally the marketing strategy and the marketing execution. So this is really great. Jason, I think we are reaching to the end of our session. I want just to launch a poll for our audience that is here on Zoom. So please, it's just 3 questions about satisfaction survey. So please take a minute to answer these questions. Jason, I want to really thank you for your time. I think it was really a great discussion. I really enjoyed talking to you. I think we were able to give a good overview for our audience about what they can do to go online and to have an online business. I know that you have a wealth of experience. I want to encourage everyone to reach out to you or to your team if they need any support, right? If you don't know how to reach Jason directly, please reach out to me. I will connect you. So no worries. I can be the mailman in this in this process, because we are here to help people. We are here to help businesses grow and strive and overcome this crisis. So Jason, having said this, I really want to thank you once again, and I hope that we will have many other opportunities to discuss together on other topics. And with this, I want to thank you, and I want to wish you and wish all our audience a great day ahead. And I hope that you will be following us on our future webinars. May is the last month of our webinar before we take the summer break. We still have 3 more guests. Please go on our social networks, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on our website. You will find all the remaining sessions. The participation, the registration is free. So we're not gaining anything out of that other than a friendship, a connection, and sharing information with everyone. Having said this, Jason, thank you so much, and have really a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good day.
Bye.